Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, and online is Wootini here with another gay gamer video podcast for y'all. This week, I did not go to the movies. There was nothing opening that I wanted to see, and there was nothing left over that I wanted to catch. So I took a day off from the movies. It was nice. I was able to, I still had to do, it wasn't a day off. I still had to do errands, grocery shopping and laundry and whatever, but at least I didn't have to squeeze those in around going to the movies. So this episode is all about games, which is good because I have a lot to talk about again, and I don't want to do another super long episode like last one. Let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. I don't keep you here too long. So first off, still playing Disney Dreamlight Valley. Still working on the Star Path. Making excellent progress with it. There's still I think a month left, so I'm good. I did also move the Cheshire Cat into the Valley. Which I appreciated that it wasn't like the usual characters where you just sort of do their quest in their land and then they just come. Alice came fine, but the Cheshire Cat sort of slipped in and did weird things around the valley for a few days, and then eventually you could find something and then you could get him to show up in the valley by putting up his tree, which is huge. They need to stop making these things so huge. We have no room. I know we have the islands, but still. And I also forgot last episode, which came out on May the 4th, and I should have done it then, and I forgot, but for May the 4th, because Disney owns the Star Wars franchise now, they released a whole Star Wars pack. There's a Naboo house with furniture that I don't care about, and I don't care about Princess Amidala's outfit, but I did buy the Anakin Skywalker outfit with the lightsaber and the R2-D2 companion, so I could run around like that for a while. I have plenty of moonstones, so it's fine. I like to be able to spend them on stuff like that every so often. But I've been playing a lot of that because Nikki remained broken. Except Thursday, I think, last week, I, just out of curiosity, because normally, I've said this before, when Nikki broke, I explained that when you boot up the game, you have the loading screen, and it'll check to see if there's any small updates that need to be done, and it wasn't even doing that. So I assumed that there would have to be some kind of another PS5 update, they would push it to the PS5 to update the game on your PS5. So I was waiting for a notification that Infinity NIkki updated in the background while I was doing other things. But I never saw any of that. And it had been so long, I was like, let me just try to open the game and see what happens. Expecting that I was going to see the same loading screen that doesn't work, and then I would just move on. But instead, this time it actually started loading. It was like, hey, there's an update. Do you want to install it? And I was like, yes, please. And so it downloaded this update. And that took a little while, but then I had to verify the update, which just crawled all the way to 100%. But once it did, the game was fixed, and I could actually enter Mirrorland. Except I didn't enter Mirrorland because all of a sudden there was this weird, cosmic space cutscene with Nikki floating around, and then this character shows up, and they go flying around, and then there's run this way and jump over the obstacle, jump over the gaps. And I'm like, this is a tutorial. What is happening? And you can skip the tutorial. It said you can skip these sections, but I didn't want to because I was like, what is this? And then you're in space, and there's these giant see-through dolphins, and you ride them around, and there's an exploding planet, and it's just bonkers. It's all cosmic and weird. And there's this character called the Seer, who admittedly has a kind of cool character design, who explains that she saved you from some world that was destroyed, and the Heart of Infinity blew it up, but you're supposed to use the Heart of Infinity to save it, and I don't understand. And Nikki's like, what about Wishfield? And she's like, oh no, your Wishfield is fine. It was another one. And I'm like, what? And then she's like, here's a new Heart of Infinity for this area. and you collect star fragments, and here you go. And I'm like, what is going on? And then finally, like by that point, when she teaches you, gives you the Heart of Infinity and says, okay, collect star fragments, then suddenly Nikki was not wearing the intro outfit. She was wearing the outfit she was wearing the last time I played the game. And then they bring in Momo, who's like, where the fuck are we? What is happening? And Nikki's like, I have no fucking clue because this makes not a lick of sense. And I was very grateful when she's like, you know, after the tutorial type stuff, they're like, now you can take this boat and go back to Wishfield. And I'm like, thank you. And it teleported me and I ended up in front of the Stylist Guild and I'm in Wishfield and I was like, thank you, this is the game I want to play. Not this Sea of Stars thing. That's just insane. And what's even crazier is it turns out, I was reading about this online, that because with the 1.5 update, with the Sea of Stars and multiplayer and everything, it's also launching on Steam. So players are playing this game for the first time, that's the cutscene that they get. That's their intro and tutorial to the game, which is insane because she's like, here's the Heart of Infinity and blah, 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 and here's how you do this. And then you go to Wishfield where you get another Heart of Infinity and are taught how to do stuff there. And I'm like, that's terrible. Like, what are you doing? So, plus the fact that, like, it's so overwhelming and it does not make any sense. And I feel like they were trying to make it, like, work for new players and players who already had been playing for a while. And that just made it worse. So I was just like, this is absurd. And I want to be in Wishfield where there's people and things to explore and Esslings to fight and whatever. The Sea of Stars was like this cosmic wasteland. And I'm just like, no, thank you. That's not where I want to go and what I want to do. And Momo was all like, oh, hey, there's something with PCs and bubbles over at the Stellar Fishing Grounds. We should check it out. And I was like, yes, let's check that out. So I went, and it's like the limited time bubble event or whatever it's called. I don't know. Because they also added, like, because of the Sea of Stars and the Wishfield stuff, the Mirrorland stuff, it's like there's so many new menus with so many new tasks and things to do. And oh my God, it was already overwhelming. They love their menus. Now it's just worse. And I'm just like, you know what? It's too much. Thankfully, the time away has made me be like, I don't need to worry about all this. I'm not going to be like, oh, I got to collect all this stuff. It's broken the spell. I'm just like, this is fine. I went to check out the bubble thing and teleported myself to the, I think it's called Serenity Island or Serenity Isle, whatever. And it's a bunch of PCs. And as soon as I took one look at the island, I was like, yes, this is what I want to explore. Not some kind of barren sea of stars. I want to explore this, where there's like PCs and treasures to discover and, you know, platforming and exploration and how do you get up there and, you know, all that sort of thing. That's what I want. So I'm happy to explore the Bubble Land and Serenity Island, and it's actually a sizable map. So I'm very excited to, like, explore that. When I return to the Sea of Stars, who knows? Because I don't care about it, and it's boring to me. But we'll see. But it's good that I did not play a lot of Infinity NIkki, because, as promised, I started a new game after finishing Starfield last week. Did you guess the game that I would start? If you guessed Dragon Age Veilguard, you're correct. Give yourself a point. Honestly, I would have bought Star Wars Outlaws because it's like 50% off. You can get it for like $35 now. But Dragon Age Veilguard came free with my PlayStation Plus membership, so I was like, let me not spend any additional money. I'll just check this game out because everybody... Yeah, I guess it had mixed reviews. I think there were people who didn't like it, but there's a lot of people who did like it and said, no, it's legit good. So I was like, let me try it. It won't cost me anything extra. And I was afraid I was going to get stuck in the character creation screen for like an hour, which I can do because I like to get every little thing. But I ended up not spending as much time in the character creation screen as I probably would have, because there were not as many presets as I like. I prefer games, I think Starfield did this, where it's like, here's a bunch of eyes, here's a bunch of noses, here's a bunch of mouths, here's a bunch of some jaws to choose from, here's your ears, whatever, and you can like adjust your appearance depending on how you want it to go. I want a fat nose, I want a skinny nose, I want plump lips, I want skinny lips, you know. And here the presets were basically like a haircut, eyebrows, there were eyelashes, and like that's it. So if you want to tweak your eyes, nose, or mouth, or jaw, or whatever, you had to go in and just use like the sliders and like push and pull and stretch and whatever. And that, no, I'm not good at that sort of thing. I remember in the previous game, Dragon Age Inquisition, I spent so much time perfecting my character. I started the game, and in the opening cutscene, I was like, ooh, no, he did not look right. Like, because it's three-dimensional, so like from certain angles, he looked okay, but from every other angle, it was a monster. And like, it was just like, ooh. So, like after playing for like 5 minutes, there was another dialogue scene, and I was like, no, I can't look at this for however long it's going to take me to play this game. And I quit the game, started a new game, and just used presets so that he wouldn't look like a horrific monster. So here, I was like, I'm not tweaking any of this, because who knows what I'll end up with. So I just left it plain, and did not like the way that my character looked. And I thought, well, maybe it's just this haircut that I'm not crazy about. So let me try another haircut, because it did say in the character creation section, it did say that you could change your appearance at any time. So in the lighthouse, which is like your home base, there's a mirror in one of the rooms, and when you go to that mirror, you can totally change your character's appearance from start to finish again, tweak whatever you want. So I gave myself a new haircut, which I also did not care for. And then it was quite some time before I could get back to the lighthouse and try again. I've settled on a haircut that's boring, but it doesn't bother me, so whatever. Oh, and there was also a point on one of the missions where I actually found I was able to buy a helmet, because I didn't have a helmet, just armor. So I bought a helmet, and then I was like, yay, now I don't have to look at my face anymore. Except in the cutscenes, they show your face. So, boo. But I very quickly just jumped into the game. And I know it's a cliche, but I have to say I sort of like the games that start where you are like a new person, or you have amnesia or whatever, and you learn about the world and the characters and the lore as you play and explore. That way I can absorb it. This is one of those games that just throws you into it, and you're already working with Varric and what's her name, and you're just like Harding, and you're just racing through, trying to find somebody, and then stop Solus, and you're like racing through the levels and like smashing enemies, and you know, I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. You know, I barely remember these characters as it is, because the previous game was 10 years ago. That's a long time between sequels. So, I mean, in the character creation screen, there's a whole section where they're like, press triangle and you can adjust this game to match how your playthrough of Inquisition ended. And I'm like, who the fuck knows how that ended? That was 10 years ago. Forget it. If it was 5 years ago, I probably still wouldn't remember. So, no, we'll skip that part. Just give me the generic game. It's fine. So, finally, you get to a point where you can breathe. And then I started to enjoy the game a little more, because I was like able to absorb like what's happening in the plot and the characters, and it's like not just throwing things at you and you're just like, what's happening? But like my character's supposed to already be part of this mission, and we already know what we're doing, and it's like I don't have any clue because I've just started playing this. So that's sort of a disconnect that took a little while for me to catch up. But I am now enjoying the game. And I've now hit a point where, like, the first 2 or 3 hours, I think, are very linear. And now I'm at the point, it's still pretty linear. I mean, like, when you go on a mission, it's very linear. The actual level, it's like a level. It's like an action adventure game. It's not like an open world RPG. So I kind of appreciate that because it gives you a just go this way, and you can kind of veer off here and there and find extra treasures and whatever, but you're not like wandering aimlessly, which is nice. It'll help keep this game from taking too long to play, I hope. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, I had like the main quest had 2 separate things I could do. Pick one. How do you want to do it? Do you want to do this one or that one first, and then you do the other later? And now I've started unlocking additional side quests for the characters and my companions to like do stuff with them, and it's like, okay. So that's, I feel like I'm in the meat of the game, and it's starting to become the game that it is, and there's places to explore and stuff to do and characters. I like the characters, getting to know them. I think Nev is a treat. And, if I was straight, I would totally romance her because she's kind of cool. But I'm waiting for a guy to show up, but there aren't any yet. I know there are some, but we'll see what happens. I have to get my new characters. I gotta have the whole Veilguard, right, to put together. So thankfully I'm enjoying it. So I will be playing that. So come back in the next episode for more thoughts on Dragon Age Veilguard and whatever else I have to talk about. Spoiler alert, it's going to start with Eurovision. That's next week. Bye!